Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I've got to be careful what I say.
Say it, man. Say it.
No,
Dharma.
no. I think what it was is like, in fairness, like I know at the time, you know, I personally had tried, and other people had tried to try and do their. I had like Seek Recover. I had a Seek to Recover, and I was the kind of philosophy around it was to get, you know, was trying to bridge that gap from Punjabi culture to the religion in terms of that religious institution. So, for example, you'd have somebody who'd been outcasted by like the Gurdwara. So they'll go like yourself, for example, you'd be needing help or treatment. You go to a Gurdwara to try and help. The Gurdwara would say, well, you know, and I had it said to me like, oh, a proper Sikhs don't drink. They got, you know, a proper Sikh doesn't drink, and they wouldn't engage. They'll get somebody in to try and put up a banner, like a little poster of trying to get people into treatment. They realize at this point that the person who they're trying to get into it doesn't go to the Gurdwara because they're not allowed in. Somebody's they kick them out. They're outside being ostracized. And I always felt that there was this bridge to try and bring in. So talking therapies, getting the community used to talking therapies, because if you've got the right ingredients on everything, regardless of what the subject matter is, whether it's sexual abuse or domestic violence, because that's those are the hidden harms, isn't it? So from alcohol, for example, the strong relationship with sexual abuse and physical abuse, that doesn't necessarily get come out on the forefront on a conversation. And I always found that when I was trying to put this up, I just couldn't get the buy-in. So I took it to a point, and then I always thought like somebody else better than me will just come pick this up, move it forward. And that's why, you know, when you came in and you were doing the AA models and all this, I was like, this is the guy, this is the person to kind of going through. So I think, you know, like just trying to, and the other danger, which I will say, was that there were some organizations, and there's some of them still around now, where they was how long it took to sit on those tables and get the respect of those commissioners, those charities to try and help out, almost kind of bulldoze their way to sit on the table, and really did some damage. They really did some damage. And I kind of learned the lesson then, where I think that was the kind of straw that broke the camel's back, where I thought, I'm constantly kind of swimming uphill here. Instead of trying to tackle this kind of like on a lone ranger kind of way, I need to just support several people and try and help them achieve what they did. But I feel like what you've done, you know, and how you've pushed it forward has been excellent. And so I'm always keen in terms of like how to support the Sikh Recovery Network, but also not just that, what's it going to take to push you onto the next level? So what is those next steps for you, Jaz?
Another good question, Ricky. I think the next steps really is, you know, I've been blessed as well to, you know, on this journey, met some great people, you know, done some amazing stuff. And I think I don't know what the next step is. I don't know. We'll just carry on and see where it takes us. Yeah, I have got some short-term goals, long-term goals. We'll just see, you know, and like I said, you know, we're not in it. Those organizations you're on about, we know who they are. They've been exposed, right? But that, you know, I believe they only damaged themselves. They haven't damaged the work that we're doing, the work that you started, right? We just picked up from where you left off. And, you know, I didn't even know about you then, but the support we've had from you has been unconditional. And, you know, I've learned a lot working with you and doing these kind of podcasts, interviews. And so we're learning all the time, you know, and I'm not afraid to sit down with any service provider. We get criticized for working with certain ones saying they're using you. But, you know, if they hadn't used us, there's a lot of people that won't be in recovery now, right? But it's a two-way thing. I don't believe they're using us for a start. You know, we're using their resources, they're using our resources, and we're helping people to get into recovery. Now, we can't do this on our own. The Sikh Recovery Network can't do it on our own. These organizations that sat around these tables, they didn't sit there because they could do it on their own. They were doing that because there was a big pot of funding there. And we know where that funding was going to go. right? But at least we're working with the mainstream organizations now, right? And the Punjabi or the Sikh community are getting that support that they need. You talk about, now, in some of the outbuildings that the Gurdwara provide, there's people that have come in there intoxicated, but they can sit in those outbuildings. They've come to the Gurdwara, they can sit there and they can talk. And you know what? Some of those people have remained in recovery. They've had bliss, but they've come back and they're in recovery. But I think there's a lot of work. There is a lot of work to do. I don't know where we're going to go. I'm just going to carry on with doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. I just got, maybe it's kind of like when you're a kid and you could think, cars are going to start flying soon. I always thought when I entered the addiction field, when I was kind of in it or towards the end of it, that when you don't necessarily go to like a Sikh hospital if you break your leg, you just go there because it's universal, isn't it?
Oh.
And one aspect was to say, is it universal in terms of like addictions that you wouldn't need to cater for different communities? The more that I've kind of saw it kind of grown up, the more the need is. And I just thought the amount of operative doctors that I know, pharmacists, all these skilled professionals, all this money, all these charities that are going somewhere down there, someone better than me, someone better than a project manager, or someone to put together and say, right, we've got the ambition here to put up a center or whatever it may be for different aspects. But just taking that idea from paper into kind of reality, and all the charities can put their names to it and say, yeah, we've done this and that. I think people are just so caught up in their own kind of momentum or their own identity. They just don't focus on one area. It's just, I want to do a little bit of this, I want to do a little bit of that. And it's normally driven by one individual or two individual or three individual. But I think to have a whole organization like working towards it and have a legacy, I think that's where it might happen.